So I imagine most of you have contemplated the day where you may get a knock on the door from law enforcement saying, hey, look, you've been deemed a threat to society, so we're here to pick up your guns. And the federal government has essentially renamed gun confiscation to red flag laws. And the way they present it to people is, well, if you know a person that's a danger to themselves or others, give us a call. And we'll go to their house and take their guns without due process, and we'll hang on to them for however long until they prove their innocence. It's so wrong on so many different levels, down to our court system. Innocent until proven guilty, which means that you shouldn't be taking anything until someone is considered guilty in the people's eyes. But there is a new gun confiscation effort, and I'm going to break that down today. So there is this new National Gun Resource Center that got put together 24 hours after the government funding bill was passed. Just to be clear, this is not authorized by law. Congress didn't pass this. It was just in a funding bill. Listen to this.
These are gun confiscation laws, and this new National Gun Confiscation Resource Center is meant to train your state, your local bureaucrats, or even your doctor and your families how to use those laws to have your guns confiscated. And I think it's really important to note that none of these states with red flag laws have due process. There is always a way for the government or whomever to have your firearms seized before you ever get to go to court, before your lawyer ever gets to represent you, and before you ever get to face your accuser.
That is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. So essentially what they're saying is that, hey, if you're mad at someone, here's a way to get back at them. You can call this National Gun Resource Center, and you can have them red flagged, and you can have their guns taken away without due process. So I have a quick story about a buddy of mine who got red flagged. And let me tell you, it is the most egregious process known to mankind. He's a really good buddy, so I'm not going to talk in specifics here, but essentially, he got broken up with by a girl. He brought flowers over to her house the day after. She called the cops and said that he was stalking her and that he has guns, just for bringing flowers over to her house. So guess what happened? Cops show up, held him at gunpoint, arrested him for stalking, and took all of his guns. Now, fast forward, all the charges were dropped because it was stupid. But how long do you think it took for him to get his guns back off of something that he was never convicted of and it was dropped? 3 years. 3 years. And guess what? If you don't have money to pay for a lawyer, you're most likely never getting them back because it's not a priority for them. Their thought process is, well, less guns on the street, even if it's a good person, fine by us. That's why this stuff is a problem. So March Madness is always a fun time of year. And if you're still on the hunt for a sports book to call home, enter MyBookie, a place to bet all of the nonstop madness for March Madness. You can enter bracket contests for a chance to win up to 25 grand, or pick from a huge selection of straight bets, props, and odds boosts. MyBookie makes it easy to play and get paid. So when you sign up now, you can take advantage of their special welcome offer to score a massive first deposit of up to $1,000. All you have to do is enter my promo code HDCountry. But the fun doesn't stop there. Get up to the minute odds, free bets, and expert predictions to help you decide what you're going to bet on. The best part about MyBookie is you can bet on anything, anywhere, at any time. Use promo code HDCountry to secure your limited time welcome bonus today.
Right, and the problem is, again, you have law-abiding gun owners, people who aren't going to commit any crimes, aren't a threat to themselves or to others, but they're Second Amendment lovers and they have a firearm, and you can use these laws to take their guns away, which I imagine why you're pushing back against it, which is an affront to the Second Amendment.
Absolutely. So these are ripe for abuse. In fact, in New York, first of all, there is no penalty in most of these states for actually misusing these. If you file a fake red flag law and you have someone's guns confiscated, even though they didn't do something wrong, they weren't even being dangerous, there's no penalty for misusing that and calling that in.
I think that's a really good point that I don't think is talked enough about. Let's take my buddy's example. What did the government do in that situation to say, you know what? We screwed up, or the person who made the report on you screwed up. Here's how we're going to make it right. You had 3 years of your rights denied because of this situation that was factually false. So we're either going to give you a settlement, we're going to go investigate the person who made the BS allegation against you. There is never any of that. There is never, hey, look, us as the government, we screwed up. Here is some consolation for us messing up. I really feel like there should be something in place so there is more accountability in our government. How much is your right to your Second Amendment worth to you? I don't know if you can really put a dollar amount on your safety, on your rights and your freedoms. So if somebody were to come to you today and said, hey, look, I'm going to take away your right to the Second Amendment for 3 years over something that turned out to be BS. I don't know, to me, that seems like $1 million settlement, if I've ever heard one. But nope, we were just doing our job. Somebody made an allegation and, hey, at least you weren't convicted. That's their attitude. This is gun confiscation, just renamed.
And also in states like New York, it's possible to check a box that says this person is dangerous because they recently purchased firearms or because they recently purchased ammunition. That is exercising your Second Amendment rights. That's not dangerous behavior that should have your guns confiscated.
That's right. I've got it right here. I've got it right in front of me. Here is the red flag application. Here's the box. Recently purchased a weapon. Ripe for abuse.
All right, let me make sure I get this right. There is literally a box on one of these red flag forms that states this person is dangerous because they participated in one of their God-given rights. You're reporting someone just for their love of one of their rights. If you get red flagged by somebody, for example, in New York, just for buying ammo or a gun, how does that conversation go down between you and law enforcement? Hello, sir. You were reported by someone because you bought a box of 9mm, 50 rounds, in fact. So we're going to need to take your guns and your ammo. And yes, that's before you see a judge. And we're not sure when you're going to get them all back. What do you think Americans are going to say to that? You think they're going to be like, oh, sure. Here you go. Can I do anything else for you? How about a finger? You want me to cut off a finger and give that to you too? How about my First Amendment? You guys want to duct tape my mouth shut? That way I can't go to the press with this? This is absolutely heinous. And it's just another way for our government to say, we have control over you and you have nothing.